Good morning, students. So, dear students, in the last class, we started the poem Before I Go to Sleep, where I recited the poem and also gave you the summary of the first half of the poem. So, after that, today I am going to give you the rest summary, the rest part of the poem, and I'll also give you the textual question answers from this poem. So, at first, let me recite the poem for all of you once again. Before I go to sleep. In summer, when I go to bed, the sun still streaming overhead. My bed becomes so small and hot, with sheets and pillow in and out. And then I lie and try to see the things I would really like to be. I think I would be a glossy cat, a little plump but not too fat. I would never touch a bird or mouse. I am much too busy round the house. And then a fierce and hungry hound, the king of dogs for miles around. I would chase the postman just for fun to see how quickly he could run. Perhaps I would be a crocodile within the marshes of the Nile and paddle in the riverbed with dripping mud caps on my head. Or else I would be a polar bear and on an iceberg make my hair. I would keep a shop in Buffin Sound to sell icebergs by the pound. And then I would be a wise old frog squatting on a sunken log. I would teach the fishes lots of games and how to read and write their names. An Indian lion then I would be and lounge about on my seat. I would feed on nothing but bananas and spend all day in my pajamas. I would like to be a tall giraffe making lots of people laugh. I would do a tap dance in the street with little bells upon my feet. And then a snake with scales of gold, girding hoards of wealth untold. No thief would dare to steal a pin, but friends of mine I would let in. But then, before I really know just what I would be or where I would go, my bed becomes so wide and deep, and all my thoughts are fast asleep. Thomas Hood. So, dear students, in the last class, we learned that the little boy was unable to sleep just after lying down on his bed because his bed has become too much hot due to the warmth of the sun. That's why he was just thinking about the animals that he would like to be, and he was also thinking about the works that he would do if he could become the animal that he wished to be. So, at first, he wished to be a glossy cat, then a hound, a crocodile, and a polar bear. So, now he can also be a wise old frog. And if he could become a frog, then he would sit on a log which is half inside the water, and he would sit on the log in a squatting position, and then he would teach the fishes lots of games and also how to read and write. Then he could also become an Indian lion, and then he would sit on his couch, but He could feed only bananas and spent all his days in his pajamas. Then he was also thinking of becoming a giraffe who would make fun in the streets, on the streets. There he would do a tap dance. It's a kind of dance that uh, dancers do by tapping their feet. Okay, and he would do this by tying some little bells upon his feet. Then he also wanted to be a snake. By becoming a snake, he would guard several large collections of treasures where no one would dare to enter. But he would allow his friends to go inside it. So he was just thinking about all these animals that he wanted to be and the things that he want to do if he could become these animals. But while thinking about all this, he just fall asleep. So this is the poem, students. I hope that you all have understood. And it's a very simple and interesting poem, and I know that there is no confusion. But still, if there is any confusion remains, you can clarify your doubts in the offline classes which we are conducting nowadays. Now let me give you a few word meanings. And they are: number 1, city, which means couch. Number B, tap dance. It's a form of dance in which the dancers tap their feet to make rhythm. C, hoards. It means several large collections of treasures. D, squatting, which means to do squats. And number E, sunken, which means below water. Now, students, let me give you a few textual question answers from the poem. So, students, you can see at first a quotation has been given from the poem, that is, in summer when I go to bed, the sun still streaming overhead. So, students, here the first question from this quotation is, what time does the speaker go to bed? And the answer will be, the speaker goes to bed early in the evening. Then question number B is, why do you think the sun is streaming overhead? And your answer will be, the sun is streaming overhead as during summer days grow longer and the sun sets later. The number C, the season summer is mentioned here. Is it important? Why? And your answer will be, yes, it's important to mention the summer season here because it tells us why the season is still up and the weather is warm even at the bedtime. Okay, now let's proceed to the next question. What does the speaker think about before falling asleep? And the answer is, the speaker thinks about the different animals he would like to be and what he would do if he were them before falling asleep. The number 3. What is the rhyming scheme of the first stanza of the poem? Pick out the rhyming pairs. And your answer is, the rhyme scheme used in the first stanza is AABBCC. The rhyming pairs are AA, bad overhead, BB, hot not, CC, CB. So students, these are the few important question answers from the poem. So please note them down in your classwork copies, mentioning today's date and the name of the poem on the top of the page. So with it here, let me finish our today's discussion. But here I have two questions as your home assignment. Please try to do it by yourself. So, students, here is the end of our today's class. Thank you so much for watching this video.